You have a map.
Maybe
It's
ask
it's in
around
your
about,
player's place in your player's guide.
Ah, right. Do that.
Destiny Hill.
which way are we coming in from?
You'll be well, I'm not sure actually. Whichever way you have to come in to see the headstone, which actually you'd be coming in from the north because of where you've been before. You come down from sundown, so you would actually be coming in down the
from on the
Bridges Trail.
Fort Bridger Trail.
Yeah.
Well, in that case, since the theatre is on Bridger Street, I think I'll head straight there.
I have it. As I say,
We're coming
I
from
have
Fort Bridger, or
noticed,
we're coming
gentlemen,
in from Lone Tree Trail.
My dice are exactly the same colour as the background of the map.
Oh. Okay, Sophia, and Mercy. So it's just the ladies. Obviously, it's the female character's superior here. Yeah. Assuming characters are being female, I'm not casting anything on the players.
It's okay. It's okay.
Where was I? I got myself distracted there. You can hear both you, two of you hear a faint, high-pitched humming sound reminiscent of swarming insects or keening scream issuing from somewhere in town. But no one else hears it, and everyone else around the town doesn't seem to be acting as everything's normal, so I wouldn't worry.
Okay.
So if we're coming in on the Fort Bridger Trail,
Yep.
then we're gonna cut down Bridger Street and make our way into the center of town, or are we gonna circle around and come in down to all the way down to Main Street?
What's going on with your numbering system? That's just weird.
That relates to what's in the player's guide. I've shared you the PDF of it, and there's
I was thinking, why can't I find the numbers on the map on the key at the side? I was very confused.
some of them aren't on there, but
Larceny is looking for a place where he can be fed, and so whatever y'all do, Mercy's gonna head for Main Street and then go from there, search out a likely looking tavern.
Yeah, you think they'd obviously the players map and the GM's map I suspect are the same, but you think they would have sort of not had a players map with all the extra numbers on
Yeah.
it.
Pinnacle don't do things like that.
In fact, I am going to swap maps. I am going to. I know I just shared one, but I'm going to share the GM map because I've got all the pins in it. There we go. Looks exactly the same. Oh no, it doesn't. It's got more on it. I better click. No.
Yeah,
so that's interesting.
That's got more numbers in it that tells us what more things are.
Yeah.
A numerical sequence on the list.
Okay, let's unshare that one and keep you
Oh,
guys.
photographs it. I took a screenshot. Really?
I don't know what the difference. Okay, yeah. So the only difference is the numbers are the same. It's just they've obviously put more. They put all the descriptions in for me, which is fine because that means, in fact, it does make sense because then it tells you. It does make sense because you could say I'm heading to number whatever 61, for example, and I know what it is even if you don't. Huzzah! Okay, so encounter page. So you've arrived as you've come into town, and yeah, you can choose where you wish to head from here.
I'm going there.
So
With
I
me,
mean,
obviously.
so the headstone nugget was found, and I obviously found that allowed them to find the mine seam, right? But somebody's stolen. Somebody has pinched the nugget. So we don't know where it is, and the mine owner bought out the town and he improved it, but there's hostilities between the two fractions because the miners and then obviously everybody in the town. So it might get a bit rough around here, but I mean, you could go and buy Ghost Rock, or you could get Ghost Rock, but why would anybody want to steal the big rock of it?
Because they
It's not
needed a very
exactly
large
easy to
amount.
walk off with.
I know, that's exactly the point. It's not exactly easy to walk off it unless they specifically wanted that lump, or they needed that exact amount for some bizarre reason.
That is a very good question.
I'm just thinking mechanically, what do you need to what? I mean, that's some size steam engine, you know, to put that in the coal bunker. Do you know what I mean? That's just a bit ridiculous. You know?
How much power would burning something that size actually produce?
7.
A shit ton, I believe, is the correct phrase.
I wouldn't. You don't burn it in one. You don't burn it in one lump. You burn it. You grind it, and you burn it in little bits, and it squeals when you burn it.
Actually, interestingly enough, that photo I showed you is probably coming in. Depending, well, actually, it could work. It is probably coming down the Fort Bridger Trail. That one, looking at the look at a map I've got. So there you go. Just noticed something very interesting about this module. This is it. This is me playtesting the module. I'm already finding things to fix. Drat it. I should stop playing my own modules and start playing other people's. Okay, so where you headed?
Well, Mercy already said she's going to continue along to Fort Bridger Trail to where it ends at Main Street. And then since it's obviously going to be going to the right, she's just going to look for a likely looking saloon.
And I'm, like I said, going to head over to the theatre to go and visit with. It's not JC Penny, it's the Two Penny Theatre, but it's JC something that runs the theatre.
30 yards would be 15 inches. Therefore,
JC Philpott, that's the fella.
Hang on. 30. No, an inch is 6 feet, which is 2 yards, isn't it?
That's correct.
Okay, so I'm halving things when I need to be dividing by a bit more than that. So 15, 30
Mr. Tambourine Man
is 15 inches. Therefore, that's what I'm just trying to put a scale on the map because then I can put your tokens on it, if that makes sense, in case we need to do interesting things. So okay, so 9. So I need to divide 90 by 15. That's what I need to do. To work out, I need 6 pixel squares. There we go. I don't actually need the squares on, but it basically means if I put squares on the map, we can now use this map for any sort of interesting things that may or may not happen. Although it means finding your characters could get rather interesting. So combat tracker.
Okay, looking at the map, going the route I selected, the first likely saloon I'm likely to run across looks to be the Cowboy Saloon.
Yeah.
Oh, sounds like home.
Cowboy Saloon is number 9.
Yep. So I'll be heading. I don't know that's where I'm heading, but if I follow the route I just designated, that's going to be the first likely looking saloon I spot, and I will tie up my horse at the hitch and rail out front.
Well, the Two Penny Theatre, Miss D, is supposedly on the corner of Bridger and 3rd.
Okay,
Did
so
you say Richard III?
Decorated with tattered lariats, shot up hats, blasted apart saddles, cow and horse skulls, and other evidence of Dar Trail mishaps. Everyone with a story. All true. The Cowboy Saloon is where the local ranch hands and drovers blow in to spend hard-earned cash. It's a rowdy place for those who aren't cowboys. The crowd is usually more interested in imbibing the budget. I know you don't know that, but that's the idea you'll get over time. So yeah, you get basically as you want. Yeah, it looks a bit rough and ready, and it seems to be yeah, obviously where everyone goes to. Actually, yeah, it's a
That's
saloon rather than
that's
an inn.
yeah,
Don't
that's the
forget.
Cowboy Saloon. Well, that's where
Yeah.
I'm headed.
Okie dokie.
That's where I'm heading to.
It's a long, dry, dusty trail.
Indeed. Okay, so William H. Buddy and I don't know where I got the H from. Will Money and and Mercy are heading to the Cowboy Saloon. I gather that Mercy and Sophia and
So you still mix us up.
oh shush.
And the ironic part is our voices
Patrick.
are nowhere remotely alike.
Oh, it's got nothing to do with that. I go to the Two Penny Saloon, which is
Don't want me to go through the
2 penny, 2 penny. I can't.
Number 53 on the corner of Bridge and 3rd.
Oh, that's helpful. Thank you. Number 43. No, number
53.
53.
Do you know what? Ladies and Lords
Oh,
sounds
yes.
better.
Okay.
That sounds British.
Yes, I won't be going there.
What, Ladies and Lords?
There's an Englishman in it? Absolutely not.
Okay. Okay. The Two
It's
Penny
more for the educated
Theatre.
thirst.
Yeah. Okay. You're heading into. Okay. So apparently on the show tonight, as you head to the Two Penny Theatre, it would appear that tonight's show is apparently, well, the charge, despite its name, it would appear that tonight's show is $1.50 a ticket, and apparently it's some famous singer from back east with the name of Adelaide Adams.
Wow.
Is that so?
That's quite something.
So as you approach the theatre, so, there's someone in the ticket booth says, "Two of you, that'll be $3, please."
I'm not actually here to see the show. I'd like to speak to Mr. Philpott, please.
Oh, in that case, go round to the stage door.
But of course.
Can we see the show anyway? I mean, it's Adelaide Adams.
Well, it is. I have seen Miss. I've seen Miss Adams perform previously at the Golden Garter in Deadwood, so I have.
I'll give you one for that.
In fact, he said, "I'll spend that penny to alter the alter the story." In fact, we were on the same bill that night. I know Miss Adams at least a little. I'm sure if I let her know that I'm here, she'll give us an introduction to the proprietor. And I'll go around to the stage door.
Right, you head round to the stage. Yeah, the stage door. The door's opened, and
Wendy, is that you making tea?
you lost me there.
Yeah, me too.
Hey.
Yeah,
lost me too.
You lost. Okay, no, you said something about tea. And it totally distracted me. Sorry.
Yeah, I know. I know. I was on mute, and I unmuted myself to say something I should be said on mute. So.
Oh,
it's the ghost rock. It's smelling ghost rock does strange things to you.
Fair enough. Okay. Basically, the side you knock on the stage door, and a voice goes, "What are you on?"
I'm here to speak with Miss Adams. Tell her that it is the amazing Adolfo, Prince of Prestidigitation. I'm sure she'll know who you're talking about.
Be on stage. Come back later.
Do I look like some kind of stage door Johnny to you, sir?
He's talking through a closed door, so he goes, I can't actually see you, can I?
Well, maybe you should open the door and you will see.
You will to see Miss Adams come back in half an hour when her show finishes.
We
And
will.
then you then hear a very large gathering of material, and then a spittoon being used very noisily from behind the door.
Well, I can tell this is a high-class theatre already.
Hey, you know what would be a really good way to kill the time between now and the end of the show? Go in and watching the show.
Do you have $1.50 spare?
Yes.
Right. Well, you can lend it to me so I can see the show then.
Nice. I'll pay for both of us to go and watch the show.
Okie dokie. Okay, so you pay and you start heading inside. Okay, Mercy and William. Obviously, yeah, basically it's that standard Western thing. There's the music playing, there's people talking, there's all sorts of conversation, and the second the two of you walk in, the place goes silent. After a few seconds, the music starts playing up again, and everyone carries on with whatever it was they were up to.
Mercy heads right up to the bar, lays down a coin, tells him she needs some whiskey, waits for the bartender to come over.
Okay. At the other end of the bar right now is a scowling individual. He proceeds to produce the most expectorant coughs you can possibly imagine. They go on for quite some time, and he coughs into the handkerchief, and then when he finishes that, he uses the same handkerchief to finish cleaning the glass he's using, and puts the slightly disturbingly stained glass back up on the shelf, and he walks over and goes, "What am I gonna get you?"
I'll have a whiskey.
"One whiskey," and he reaches up for the glass he just cleaned in inverted commas.
How about you just give me the bottle? How much would that be?
That is a good question. Do you how much it is? 50 cents. Why not? It's probably too expensive even for that.
I'll tell him, no, I'll just buy the bottle. Thank you.
Sounds good to me. Okay, he sells you the bottle and then has another coughing fit and then turns to Mr. Money. What do you want?
Whiskey.
He reaches up for the freshly cleaned glass again.
Did he spit in the glass?
No, he spat into the handkerchief and then used the handkerchief.
I'll have another glass. I don't want that dirty one.
I suspect her. That's why Mercy just said, "No, I'll just take the bottle."
I'll have a bottle. No, yeah. Give me a bottle. Yeah.
Okay, that would be another 50 cents.
Yeah. Well, that's a cheap bottle, right?
Mercy takes a swig from the bottle that he sets in front of her, and she turns around and takes a look around the crowd to see what kind of likely, because she wants to ask a couple of questions. Bartender don't seem to anybody she wants information from.
Oh, here we go.
Somebody that looks local that could tell me where's a decent place to eat and a decent place to get a clean, cheap room. Stable our horses.
Okie dokie. That just leaves Mr. Watt. What's Mr. Watt up to?
Well, I think Mr. Watt's actually going to go and also pay to go into the show, because if I go into the saloon dressed like this, I'm going to get kicking. because I'm a bit well dressed for the saloon. Yes, I think I'd probably better hat. I'm going to hang out at the theatre, but I'm not watching the show because hopefully at some point, I think the plan is for them to arrange to get a part of the show, get up on stage and to say various words. And what I want to do is I want to be there. But I'll pay a little bit extra, get a private box, and I want to really watch the audience. I want to see who reacts to that and
We'll
follow them
probably
if
not
need
be on
be.
stage tonight.
Yeah, I know, but that's the plan. I just want to know. I want to stake the place out to see if it's feasibly possible. Because obviously, if somebody does react to it, you can't do anything because you're on stage. Somebody's got to be
Yeah.
there to follow them. So I just want to go and see if that's feasible. So I want to go and see the show, more to stake the place out and see, entrances, exit, and is this plan going to work?
Enough. Okay, I'm just intrigued now. There's definitely one hotel, as far as I can see, but I can't see anything else. I think you're staying at the hotel. It's a music hall saloon, famous for its performances, variety shows with musicians, singers, and dramatic readings.
Yes, singer
It's-
Lila Denslow is known for her stirring rendition of the Ballad of Bogwater Bill.
Indeed.
At
We
some
have been
point,
really
I'll go to the bank and draw some funds out for things, but not just yet. I'm sure
As
the
far as I
bank
can
owes me.
tell,
I'm
as
sure
far
the
as I
bank
can
owes me
tell, there
money.
is,
Owes me money.
as far as I can tell, there's only one hotel in the entire town, and that's the Heaston Hill Hotel.
Oh, there's a boarding house.
Ah, thank you. That's the word I was looking for.
There's a number of cheaper places listed.
The Whispering Pines Fancy House is a boarding house.
don't
You might
think that's
you
the
might
kind
want
of
to read the
house.
small print on that.
I've read all the print on that. It says it's a boarding house.
Boarding house for what, ladies?
By the hour?
I'm sure gentlemen can rent the rooms by the hour.
Have me some fun. Oh, have me some fun. Will money. Won't kill you, motherfuckers. Yeah.
The Whispering Pines Fancy House, not the boarding house.
Right. So what have I missed? We've gone to this town. We got a letter from our boss, and there was someone found a load of ghost rock. What are we doing?
We are looking for a missing person who we know is an agent of the United States, but people here didn't know that he was undercover as a minor, and he's gone missing, and we are to find him.
Agent George J.A. whatever it is, yeah?
Yeah, he was undercover as an 11-year-old. Actually, he's 47.
Yeah, and I'm not entirely sure if this is all above board and legal. I think there's a hostile hand taking place. I mean, they were on about the dynamited part of the trail, and basically they've fenced it off, and you're not allowed on it.
Yeah,
and it didn't go through court. There was no planned petition on it or anything like that.
The agent was going by the name of Len Buckles and was acting as a minor. From reading this, not one of the miners that were part of the big outfit. But there is another contact from the agency in town somewhere that hopefully we find them, they can give us some help.
So that's what we're doing. We're looking for the contact, right? Okay.
My plan for trying to get hold of the contact is because we know the contact is a member of the Twilight Legion. I will try and get a regular show on the stage in the theatre and use the words Lux in Tenebris, which is one of the passwords of the of the group as my magic words in the hopes that they will then identify themselves to us.
And
Where would this?
then Mercy is in the pub with me, and I'm just keeping watching her back, and she's looking for someone as well. Okay.
So you basically find out something about what's going on at the mine. I mean, there's some trouble between the miners and the local townfolk, but what's going on in the mine, because the agent's undercover identity was Len Buckles, and he was undercover as a miner.
Well, Cowboy Saloon is sounds like a likely spot for local information. Local gossip. I'd be sitting there drinking our whiskey and listening for a bit, but someplace where we can ask about decent accommodations and stabling and where's the best food and.
Yeah, so I mean, I wonder if he was investigating the hostile land takeover as in disguise as a miner, and then somebody didn't like his investigation and got rid of him. So presumably the miners will know something of the story, but you're gonna have to smooch with them and drink and play cards and find out what's going on.
I doubt they're hanging out there in the Pennywise Theater, so I'm more likely to find a miner in a bar than I am in a theater.
Right. So first things first. The other thing I will say is I need to point out it's more going to be to William Money and Mercy, I suspect, than John Watt or Sophia or Patrick at the moment. But basically, when that as the guy gives you both your bottles of whiskey, I forgot about the city ordinances. He looks down at both of you and goes, you need to hand over your weapons at the marshal's office, where it's a $10 fine plus confiscation of weapon. It's illegal to carry firearms within the city limits. Can I have notice checks from both of you, please?
Didn't see that posted. No.
It probably was, but you possibly didn't notice it in the dark. Spending a penny just to. It should be pointed out that there's more. You can see more than a few people in
the
this
pennies ain't flowing on
establishment,
this stream, man.
Still wearing belts with guns in them.
And I look at them, and I look at the gun, and I look at the bartender, and I go, they're wearing guns.
Yeah, Marshall obviously hasn't found them yet, he says.
Well, after we have a drink and find ourselves a place to clean up and get a bite to eat, I'll just go and have a chat at the marshal. How's that work? Where do we find the marshal?
The marshal.
That's a very good point. It doesn't seem to show it, does it, on the list? Player's guide. Not very good.
It doesn't.
Maybe on your list with all the extra stuff that we don't get to see.
Yeah, well, it's not under M for Marshal's office.
Is it under S for Sheriff's office?
No, I just checked.
Or J for jail?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Number 33.
33. It's your place, Paddy.
There.
Why would I be at number 33?
Just because I love making you say the number.
Well, that's not fair at all.
So when I make the comment to the effect of where can I find the sheriff a place to eat?
Okay, so the Marshal's office is at the end of Smith Street, where it meets First Avenue. Tin Shack, can't miss it. Places to eat. Well, you've got Angel's Corner, Mountain View, the Grub Counter, Silver Fountain, and the Wyoming Restaurant. He gives you directions to all of those as per your guide.
In my youth, my brother and I we were almost lumberjacks. We saw an advertisement that said tree fellers wanted, but there was only the two of us.
Anyway.
He has to give us all a penny for that, doesn't he?
I'm not gonna
Joe, I think that does seem fair to me.
I think he's talking about a lot of money. 3 tenors is quite a lot.
We're getting Benny to putting up with that joke. Nice.
Yeah. Do you know what? It does not, as according to the
John, what you mean?
According to, so this is where it gets really interesting. Okay, so on the GM's list and on your list, it lists one hotel in the whole place, doesn't it? The Houston Hill Hotel.
That ain't right.
Well, I can't talk for the GM's list, but yeah.
But no, yeah, you know what I mean. But then when you actually go to the description of the Houston Hill Hotel, it's the town's biggest and fanciest hotel. So where are the other ones?
That's exactly what I asked for.
Is that what you asked for?
I said, no, that's not what I asked for.
I know.
Asked for a place that's cheap and clean.
Maybe some of the saloons have got places that you can stay.
Well, there must be other hotels in the place. They just obviously aren't important to as far as the adventure writer was concerned. Would it be nice to actually have some-
They're extras. They're not wild cards.
Well, maybe the boarding house is a boarding house with a side business. I mean,
Yeah.
No, it's not. Having read the description.
no, that's what I meant. That's what I did say. Read the small print.
So, yes, obviously there are a number of buildings without numbers on them. So what's the biggest unnumbered building we can see other than that one?
But unnumbered.
Unnumbered, yeah.
That one's quite big. That one's quite big. That one's quite big and has got an outbuilding.
Yeah.
Opposite number 5.
But they've got to be big, but they've got to be smaller than 22, which I can't see at the moment.
What about
22 is not very big at all. 22 is on Main Street.
right down here on 3rd Street, just above 39. It's
Yeah,
not.
Yeah. Okay. So, in that case, it doesn't have to be a big building, because if that's the biggest and fanciest hotel in the place, we have to have a small building on the main street. We'll have to have a small building on the street that isn't. So I'm going to say, what's number 8? Number 8 is the church. No, that wouldn't be near there.
Between 38 and 9?
Yeah, there'd be several along there, plus down below.
Logically, they'd be along Main Street, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Number 21 is the Houston Hill Examiner, and number 9 is the Cowboy Saloon. So let's say we got one there. Actually, no, it'd be on Main. It'd be on Main Street. It would be on Main Street. So we'd actually
Other side of number 9 then? Between 38 and 9.
Yeah, that's probably one.
And that would be bigger than the Houston Hotel.
Yeah, that sounds good. We'll have those two.
See, they might be one-story buildings. Yes, yeah, the Houston Hotel's a multiple story. That could be a single-story like bunkhouse.
Also, number 22, the building extends into the number itself, whereas the one with the green arrow on it is squatter than that.
Very true.
Yeah, aren't you supposed to have 4 houses on it before you can get a hotel? Oh no, sorry, wrong game.
On this size, probably has multiple, cheap dives for cowboys coming in and miners, and I mean, it's got to be more than one big fancy hotel. It's just
bunkhouses and such.
Yeah, I can almost guarantee that there's a bunkhouse on Bridges Street near the theatre for visiting performers.
And given that, like the Cowboy Saloon is a pretty decent sized saloon, it seems logical that there'd be both a stable and a hotel nearby and right along the street. So
makes sense.
I mean, let's face it, it's missing the key component that every town needs, which is obviously a railway station. So because of that,
a railway spur's promised.
So it doesn't have one. So what you'll have is you'll have a coach inn. For the coach network will end at an inn, a place of stay.
Probably the Easton Hill Hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just completely at a loss for inspiration. So,
Well, hey, Money, let's pick a place to eat. Then we can find something to, now that I've washed away the dust. Toss a coin. Some of these sound awful fancy. Let's say heads will go for, let's
okay, so I'm going to say, okay, this one here between 19 and 38 is the Tarrytown Hotel.
Okay, that'll work.
She just didn't like the other one, I said.
That's between Gabley's Paradise and the musical. Well, the Tarrytown Hotel, because that looks like the next biggest building on the main street, apart from the one opposite it. And so I'm going to say that was the biggest hotel in Heaston Hill until the Heaston Hill Hotel came along. If you remember your background, you also get why it's called the Tarrytown Hotel.
Because it used to be called Tarrytown before Heaston moved in.
I noticed that the Easton Hill Hotel's right next to the blacksmith. That's quite handy for the horses.
Yeah, well, they got multiple stables around here, though.
I'm going to put a pin down there to it for the Tarrytown Hotel to remind me that.
You're going to share the pin, are you?
No, because I haven't done it. Well, I can share the pin if you want, but
That means we know what it is as well, doesn't it? And we can go, oh, that's the Terrytown Hotel.
so I need. That's not the right one to share. Make that link private. Put the Tarrytown Hotel there, and then make it shareable. There you go. Isn't that stuff fun? So, God, I do love it when I have to make stuff up on the fly. Player's Guide, Deadlands, Gears and Goods. Gears and Goods, Life on the Cheap, Selling Goods, Common Gear, Ammunition, Firearms, Explosives, Vehicles and Conveyances, Infernal Devices. And they have nice cheap. Go back to the original rulebook. I'm sure that had hotel prices in it. Come here, reloaded book. You are needed. They didn't back in Deadlands, though. Common items, barbed wire. Anyway, breakfast, lunch, dinner, restaurant. General equipment. Food and drink, bacon, coffee, restaurant good, breakfast, lunch, dinner, restaurant cheap. No, it doesn't appear to be anything on accommodation in the old price lists, which is a bit annoying.
Just half it, and it's got fleas because it's
Oh, here we are. Boarding house
cheaper.
with meals is $3 a day. Low class hotels $2 a day. High class hotels $10 a day, and the Heaston Hill Hotel charges $12 a night or $70 per week, or $15/$100 for a suite.
Limerick.
I'll take the Terryton and someplace I can go get, a decent filling meal that's not too pricey.
So I'm going to say, obviously, the Tarrytown Hotel has had its prices affected by the Heaston turning up. So to compete, the Tarrytown Hotel will cost you $8 per night. Or
that is a rip-off.
Yeah, that's well expensive. That's like a
It's a
year's
high-
wages.
it's a high class hotel. Yeah, point taken.
It's not that bad. The prices.
Well, it's not for you, Mr.
$8
Watt.
per
Yeah.
night, or
I specified cheap and clean. That's it. So if I need to find someplace else, if I have to camp out at the edge of town, I'll do that.
I'll find.
Well, the
there's
thing is,
probably
you
a
can
couple
have
of boarding
cheap
houses.
or you can have clean. You can't have cheap and clean.
Or you can have a glass, or you can have a whole bottle of whiskey.
Yeah.
Even when we were watching those glasses on, I'd take the bottle. So
Okay.
I take the bottle in my hand and I stroll over to the door and I look up and down the street to get a likely eye of what, they've already pointed out to me the Terryton's right next door. So
Okay, your next option then is probably down on Smith Street. Which should be Miss Tavis's boarding house with room and food, $3 per night.
Whose boarding house?
Miss Tavis's boarding house.
There's something to tell me, Tavis.
Well, what can I say?
That was
That's his sister.
For the record, that was completely unrelated to anybody's name. I wasn't thinking about it when I did it. I just thought, right, I need an old biddy. For some reason.
And you've landed on my husband, of course.
Sorry about that. The only
All
is a Mildred Tavis. Yeah. Yeah. So she does. If you stay at her place, she does make it clear you're expected to go to church with her.
I'm doing a Mrs. Doubtfire on my husband in my head here.
Thank you, dear.
Sorry, couldn't help it.
You've seen me in drag.
Actually, yes, you're remarkably and scarily good at it.
Fair enough. So there we go.
On stage as Julie Andrews, singing Sound of Music.
Okay. But anyway, there we go. So obviously, you got to sort out where you're staying, and obviously, the show ends. And sorry, you went inside to watch the show, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yes, you did.
You got to start singing and dancing now, Kevin.
No, but I don't know. The young lady on stage is giving it her all, and she's okay. She's good. She's good. You don't recognise her, Patrick.
So it's not the lady that I saw in Deadwood, then.
It certainly appears to be younger and a little less experienced.
I see. Well, I'll still speak with her afterwards, because then I can let her know that I know that she's not the original Adelaide Adams. For she, I saw her, I shared a stage with her in Deadwood, and then I can suggest that she introduces me to the owner, and I can give her some pointers on stagecraft.
Actually, if you said the shade we were at Deadwood, she probably is the real one, isn't she? But anyway, that's by the by. I'm only joking.
Well, no, the one that I shared the stage with on Deadwood probably retired to Deadwood because she got married.
Yeah, but that wasn't the real one, was it?
Well, this is true.
But I've decided to take it the other way around. So yes, because of you spending a penny, obviously yes, this is not the original Adelaide Adams from your. It's young. It seems to be a younger person, so you're not entirely sure what's going on there. But anyway, no problem at all there.
I will still go to the stage door after the show and ask to see Miss Adams.
Sounds good to me. See, what I should have done in hindsight, and I may well sit here and do it, is put all the bloody pins on the player's map, and then I don't have to have two maps open.
And then when she comes to the door, I shall
Yes.
I shall produce a bunch of flowers from nowhere, poof, and hand them over to her and say, "Now, I once shared a stage with Miss Adelaide Adams, and you're not her. I take it you've taken."
Concerned face, certainly concerned look crosses her face as you say this.
I am the amazing Adolfo, Prince of Prestidigitation, and I wouldn't want to besmirch the honor of a lady. Your show wasn't too bad at all, but perhaps you'd like to introduce me as an old performing friend to the proprietor here and suggest that he take me on for a show or three. Or I might have to tell him where he can find the real Adelaide Adams.
She looks a bit scared and sort of nods, and then recovers and just sort of goes, "What's your name?" She whispers, "What's your name?"
I am the amazing Adolfo, Prince of Prestidigitation. At least I am when I'm on stage. The
Yes,
rest
but
of the
if
time,
I know you, I'd know your name, wouldn't I, sir?
people call me Paddy.
Yes.
He suddenly goes, "Why, Paddy, I haven't seen you since Deadwood. Please come, let me introduce you to Mr. Philpott."
Oh,
And
that would be most kind of you, Miss Adams. It has been quite some time indeed. I don't believe you've met my new associate, Miss D.
Pleasure. Nice to meet you. Love the show.
Indeed, lovely to meet you. Well, yes, if we come this way. Oh, did you hear the fun and games Mr. Philpott's quite an entertaining chap. I mean, the story goes he once bought a barrel full of skyrockets and set them off in fusillades on the main street while his dancing girls did the can on the veranda. And he burned down half the town, but he paid the fine, and obviously everyone came to see the show. That's how he launched the place. So, yes, and obviously you're taken off to meet the JC Philpott.
Mhm.
He's obviously quite the flamboyant one, and obviously thinks that this place is obviously the best place in town and all that.
And
He
I
does actually.
will agree with him vociferously.
Mm, hang on. When the material's particularly highbrow, the times is like to end when there are no travelling extra book. His dancers fit the bill. Okay. He also just indicates that Oscar Wilde himself has appeared on his stage, and yeah, obviously after a long talk and negotiations, he decides that he will certainly sign you up as a side act. Sorry.
Well,
You know what I mean.
if you've had Oscar Wilde on your stage, surely the amazing Adolfo, a fellow Irishman, should at least warrant at least a second billing.
That's what I meant. I mean, obviously, I do apologise. I didn't actually mean side act in that returns. That was me getting myself confused there. Hang on. Done something. There we go. Just trying to clean the keyboard and I pressed the key I didn't mean to. So, yes, I think well, we'll start you out on the $1 tickets. As I say, Miss Adams is due to finish her tour on tomorrow. So how about we set you up on for your first show on Saturday? You won't be performing on Sunday. The
Well,
town
of course not.
The town ordinances prohibit the sale of alcohol, and therefore no one seems to turn up to the theatres on the Sunday. But yeah, I'll book you in for the whole of next week. And how should we say $20 a night?
How many seats in the theatre?
Yes.
7.
He goes, about 40.
$20 a night sounds fine, and Miss D will take $5 for a
Okay,
total of 25 between us.
Sounds good. Yeah. Seems reasonable. So where's everyone setting up for the night? And is anyone asking questions or?
Well, I'm going to ask the proprietor of the theatre if he knows of any suitable boarding houses where visiting entertainers can have a landlady, because it's always a landlady, that appreciates the theatrical mindset.
You're at number 53. He sort of says, you could always try Mrs. Jones across the street there. He points to this property. Yeah.
Ah, very kind of you, sir. Very kind indeed. Tell me when you'll be wanting us for rehearsal.
Indeed.
We do like to have at least a first run on the stage before we display our wares to the audience, so to speak.
He suggests that you come by after lunch tomorrow.
Very good indeed, sir. Very good indeed.
Yeah, for your practice, isn't it? Yeah,
yeah.
First showing would be the day after, which would be the Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. That's sorted.
And as we leave, I will turn to Miss D and say, "Don't you worry, Miss D. You'll get the $5 from him, and you'll get another $5 from me."
Just how I like it.
Okay. So, where's everyone planning to stay? That's the question.
Well, I'm going to go and knock on Miss Jones's door.
Mrs. Jones.
Mrs. Jones. Have you met Miss Jones, Miss D?
Can't say I haven't. Why am I in your accent? Can't say that I have.
She's just Miss Jones to you, is she?
I guess so.
Very well.
Okie dokie. So let's make it public and lodging. So that's Sophia plus Patrick staying with Mrs. Jones. She's not an official boarding house. It's just someone, obviously, is that you the discerning theatre types obviously have discovered about. The two of you will get board for $3 a night if you promise her some. If you promise to let her have free tickets for her and her friends on different nights. The idea being is that, as it were.
I'll tell you what I'll do for you, Mrs. Jones. I'm sorry, you do look so young. I can't imagine you being a married woman. But what I can do for you, Mrs. Jones,
Widowed,
is,
she says, fluttering her
so
eyelashes.
sad, so sad. What I could do for you is, if you'd be willing to accept $2 a night, I could perform a private show for you and your friends in your parlor. And I will spend a penny on that and produce.
I'll do an assist.
A little bunch of flowers.
$50.
You know something, Mrs. Jones? You're a woman after my own heart. You drive a hard bargain, so you do. $2.50 a night, but it does include the victuals, doesn't it?
Indeed, yes. Yeah, room and board. Yeah.
Very good then. Very good indeed.
Okay, that just leaves Mr. John Watt, and we'll find out where one's staying when he turns up. So, Mr. Money, where are you planning on spending?
Nowhere where I've got to go to church in the morning.
Well, that leaves you the Tarrytown Hotel.
I'm not going there. It's too expensive. Where's Mercy staying?
I'm gonna stay at the Tarrytown Hotel for a night, and if I can't find someplace I like better for less, I'll camp out after that. But we've been on the road, and for one night I want a bed.
All right. Well, I'll do that and all then. I'll just copy in whatever Mercy does.
Okay, the Tarrytown. So that will cost you both $10 for the night.
Oh, you said 8.
Yeah, he's put the price up now.
$8. All right, thank you.
Adding tax.
John Watts, where are you staying tonight?
Well, the hotel's only $8, isn't it?
Well, no, unless you want to go to the Eastern Hill and have a suite.
How much does suite cost?
The Eastern Hotel Suite, it would cost you $15 a night or $100 per week.
That's actually quite reasonable as well.
Yeah, signage on the hotel veranda proclaims the rooms are safe, secure, and bulletproofed.
No, I
For an
think we'll do.
additional fee, for additional fees, you can rent a room with a heavy plate under the bed to shield against accidental shootings from below.
That'd be a great place for that. I wonder if they do
Do
meetings.
you know,
hire out for
I
meetings.
misheard that so badly. Acts of dental shootings. Do they have a problem with wild dentists in this town? Has a certain legend of the West come in?
Indeed. Also, every room is equipped with a telephonic receiver, which connects to a switchboard-like device. So you
Oh,
can,
that might come
you
in
can-
handy
you-
as well.
you
But
can just
for
fall
now,
down
what I'm
to
going to
the
stay, I'm
reception.
going to stay with Mercy and Will Money for $8 a night.
You're going for the
Can you
Tarrytown.
call, can you call long distance on these things?
No, they're not telephones. It's just the ability to ring down to reception.
Oh, well.
And then reception has to put you through and listen and then call. But
No, it's
there
just
won't be
literally-
any
just means-
lines.
It just means you don't have to head downstairs to ask for anything. You can just pick up the telephonic receiver and speak to reception, and they will.
It's
bring
two
up
cooks
whatever
and
is
some
requested.
stretched string then.
I need to make some more notes because I need to make a new one for. No, this should be a story entry, not note story. Because it has to be. You can't pin notes, can you? To maps in stories.
I thought you could drop notes on maps.
You might be able to. I can't remember.
I believe you can. I drop notes on the maps and put the name of the place on it, and then make them green so the players can see.
Yes, I know.
My Lamp Command map is covered in green notes.
There we go. Let's put another little pin there and share.
Yeah,
that
Bell
pin.
didn't even found AT&T until 1885.
Exactly. Okay, so let's see if we have anything happen of an interesting
I'm
nature.
going to quickly go and get a cup of drink, water of hot tea or something like that. Oh, 5 townsfolk.
Yes, I definitely need to work out how to unlock the GM's module's locked. I don't know why.
This happening at night, is it? So do I need to hang around for this?
No, it's okay. It was just rolling to see if anything interesting happens. It's just people out on the town. Obviously, I'm going basically. There's some fracas on the streets late at the night. But considering where you're all staying, it's of minimal impact to any of you, and I wouldn't worry about it. So morning comes, and you're all given. It depends where you're staying. Basically, well, actually, no, you're all staying in good places. You will get a very good breakfast, and with the day ahead of you, you can start. You have your chance to head around Easton Town at your leisure.
I want to head to the marshal's office and straighten out this thing about carrying guns.
Yeah, what I'm going to do, and I think the easiest thing to do is I'm going to do. Think about it. I'm going to do that, which lets me doubled up the size of the grid, so which hopefully will make the tokens a little bigger, but obviously each square's 2 inches. That makes my life easier to see, but I think I could possibly see where you're all staying without having to zoom in too much. There we go. That way you can move around the map if you so.
There is a miners' union in town that is
There is.
opposed to Heaston's outfit. I'm guessing that the general store manager was the guy that's in charge of it from the thing. So where's the general store? Is it the Frontier store?
18. Ring is very annoying to say the least. I mean, the numbering is alphabetical on the GM's map, but in some ways, I wish it was just going across the.
Yeah,
Do you know
number
what I mean?
18's down there, but that doesn't tell me if that is actually the store that the guy that
I know,
is
I
in
know.
charge.
Where's the store? I can't see it.
Down here.
Oh, I see it there. Yeah, I see it. Yeah, because the pin's on it. What's the bit of information you're
But the
looking
sheriff's
for?
office, the marshal's office is right at the end of Smith Street.
Yes.
Where was it? There was a thing about where was it? Sure, I read it somewhere that there was a miners group and there was a leader of it, which he might know where the or he at least have some information about the missing miner. Where was it?
General info, networking, research. Just tells me all the different ways. Oh, hang on. Okay, yeah. Supposedly the idea is what they expect you to do now is to start networking around town, just talking to people and stuff, apparently.
Well, that's kind of what I was wanting to do. I want to find the guy that runs the miners' union.
And I want
Yeah,
to
I
find the
know.
marshal.
Google it. Not, you know what I mean, not Google it, but let's just type in union in the GM's module and see what we get. The Miners Association Hall, a large building hall, is number 36. The large building holds one large room that's used as an auditorium with an office. The Terrytown Miners Union holds its bi-weekly meetings here. Okay. Hang on. Frank Debney. We read one of the. There was something about him in the paper.
Yeah, that's what.
Yes, that was it. Yes, yeah, that's where I got it from. It was in the paper.
Because I recognise the name.
they have
So
in the
yes, it is
miners'
number
union.
18, the Frontier store.
Then I'm going to go to the Frontier store and make a small purchase and have a chat with Mr. Debney about a missing miner. At least that's my intent.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, so
a friend that I'm looking for that I believe lives in this town.
By the name of
He's Les something. What's he going under the name of?
Len
It's in the
Buckles.
letter. Len Buckles. That's it. Len Buckles. By the name of Mr. Buckles.
Just testing you there. If he was your friend, I'm sure you would have known his name.
Absolutely.
No problem at all. Yeah. Okie dokie. I hate this bit. Just getting started is always the hardest bit, I find.
I already headed towards the marshal's office. I
You're
want to
heading
get
towards
this
the marshal's
weapons
office.
thing sorted out.
You would have had to hand in your. Actually, you got the weapon thing sorted out because. Sorry, I forgot. Because of the ordinance of the town, you would have had to have handed your weapon in when you checked in at the hotel.
I want to go to the marshal and see about getting permission to carry my weapons. This ain't safe for a lady around any town out west if they can't protect themselves.
Obviously, the hotel refuses. Obviously, okay, so it's illegal to carry any weapons, firearms, concealed or otherwise within city limits. Guns must be checked at the hotel, boarding house, saloon, or the marshal's office on arrival and are returned upon departure. So obviously,
everyone ignores that. Ignores that and just keeps them walking around with their guns anyway, don't they? Everyone's got their guns out, have they?
No, everyone's got their guns out. You just noticed a few guns in the bar last night. It's a $10 fine plus confiscation of weapon if you're.
I'll let them lock up my weapons because, well, that still don't leave me. It said firearms. I still got my whip and my Bowie knife.
Yeah, it says it's legal to carry any firearm, concealed or otherwise.
Yeah, I've got one of
But
them
I
long
think I want to
coats
go
and my
talk to
holster's
the
at the
sheriff
back.
about what does it take to get a license or permission to carry a weapon in this town.
Carrying it doesn't say you can't carry weapons. It's just firearms are not allowed to be carried in town. So
I have
obviously,
a feeling I have a feeling if you work for Mr. Heaston and he owns the marshal turns a blind eye to you.
Well, let's find out about that because I don't have any evidence that Heaston owns the marshal. I want to go meet this marshal.
okie dokie. That will be the marshal's office down at number 33.
I've already moved my token down there.
That's okay. Marshal Pillsbury Chips Wister. His office is a simple shack tin roof. It's situated next door to the town jail. Marshal Wister and his deputies patrol the town or to be found in the marshal's office. There's always at least one of them there on duty at the office.
And I walk into the marshal's office and I ask who I have to talk to about the weapons ordinance.
Hey, Mr.
He goes,
Tambourine.
you mean the firearms ordinance? The deputy tries to clarify with you.
The firearm ordinance.
Indeed. Well, as you are obviously told when you entered any of the saloons or any of the hotels, that it is illegal to carry firearms within the city limits, and that's the law, subject to a $10 fine and confiscation of said weapon upon upon inspection by a marshal or one of his assigned deputies. He puffs up at the sort of as he starts talking about the assigned deputies.
I understand that, my friend. Who do I have to talk to about getting an exception made?
No exceptions, ma'am. Ma'am, I should say. No exceptions to city ordinances, ma'am.
There's always exceptions. I've seen people around here with guns.
I think you'll find you would be mistaken, for if the marshal spots anyone with guns, they would be confiscated and subject to a $10 fine.
I'm sorry, I was in the Cowboy Saloon last evening for a drink, and there was any number of gentlemen in there carrying guns on their hips.
Well, I thank you for that useful tip of information. We shall make sure that we stop that sort of infraction taking place in the future. Have a nice
Well, where
day.
can I find this marshal? I'd like to talk to him in person. You know, it ain't safe for a woman to be wandering around these towns in the West here without some kind of protection.
It has to be said that this town is safe since we passed the firearms ordinance. But as I say, if you really wish to speak to the marshal, he's not the type who likes to be disturbed during breakfast, but he'd be having breakfast down at the Debney Cafe.
At the
number 11, Debney Cafe and Cigar Store.
And which way do I find the Debney Cafe?
Out of the marshal's office, turn left down First Avenue, turn right onto Main Street. First building on the left-hand side. Second building on the left-hand side. Sorry, I meant first numbered building on the left-hand side.
And I look at him and I go, well, thank you, friend, for the help. I said, did anybody ever probably be right good looking if you'd shave a bit? And I walk the hell out.
Okie dokie. What's the rest of you up to this morning? I can see people moving around.
I just bumped into Mercy Vancouver.
Yeah. The amazing Adolfo's down at number 18.
Yeah, refill on his whiskey.
I'm heading that way too. I want to see if there's any fishing going on around this Smith Fork Creek.
Interesting. When I type the word fishing, it comes up with does come up with a page, but I'm not sure why. Oh, it decided we can area known for good fishing and trapping. Yeah, so there you go. This apparently this area is known for good fishing and trapping. So there probably are fish down by that.
Do you want to
Well, I'm going to
date
see if
my
I can
avatar?
borrow some
No.
stuff to do some fishing.
Probably in the Frontier store.
Well, I guess I'll go there then.
Okay, Standish Epps Frontier Store and Restaurant was the first building to go up back when Heaston Hill was still Tarrytown. It's a rambling log structure not far off Main Street. It looking more rustic every day. Okay, it's a place for miners. Folks pay with bumper shoes. Okay, there's a big sign as you get closer. Advertising with lots of blurb, obviously explaining it seems to be some great new thing. $3 each, and they're called. They seem to be called bumbershoot.
What on earth is a bumbershoot?
That is a very good question, Miss D. One to which we may find the answer inside this very establishment.
Well, let's check it out then.
You can see the on the sign in the window. You can see a sort of rendering, a drawing of it on the sign. It appears to be a wooden stick with a curved end, and on the other end appears to be a large amount of material that's spread out, sort of in a slightly curved convex manner at the other end of the wooden stick. Pretty much looks like a parasol. Really.
I wonder what the purpose of this bumbershoot would be.
Well, when you get inside, you can find out. Yeah,
I
as
will
I say,
open
they look like. I mean, the rendering makes it look like a parasol, but considerably sort of more sturdy and less sort of genteel and delicate looking.
Maybe it's a bulletproof umbrella. John Steed should have one. I will hold the door for Miss D.
Gentleman as always, Paddy.
I do my best.
Which is interesting, actually. I don't think he is here. But he owns the store, doesn't he? So I know I said that, but I get the impression.
Well, I can still ask them where I might find him.
Yeah, no. It's just interesting because the link to here is actually for the Frontier store, but actually when it gets in there, it says that it's actually run by some of his employees. But yeah, obviously that's absolutely. So yeah, basically, when you get it. So these bumbershoots, as I say, unlike a parasol, which seems to be sort of delicate and frilly, this thing seems to be sort of having it seems to be covered in some thick black material. In fact, as you walk in, a burly-looking fellow who you assume may well be a miner is walking out carrying one under his arm.
Excuse me asking, what are they for? They kind of look like parasols, only without the pretty.
Yeah, no, they're the latest thing. Great for keeping the rain off you.
Oh, I see. They're for the other weather. Gotcha. I get it now.
Yeah, they call them bumbershoots. Strange name, very useful. With the weather we get round here, it keeps you it keeps most of you dry. Obviously, it doesn't do much for your legs, but it keeps your head clear and dry. So that's the main thing.
Does it rain a lot round here then?
No more than anywhere else. It just seems to rain harder when it does.
Ah, gotcha.
Good evening. Good morning, sir, madam. Welcome to Frontier Store. How can we help you today? Can we interest you in a bumper shoot for the next inclement weather?
Oh, that might
Well,
be good.
Go on.
Oh no, not at all. After you.
I was wondering whether or not you might be able to rent out some fishing supplies. I'm not going to be wanting to keep them after I leave town, but I sure would like to take advantage of the fishing in the area before I go.
Fishing at Smith Fork Creek, eh? Many a time we've spent time down at that creek in our childhood. All good stuff. Um, yes. I think it's for a strange one. No one sort of asked that one before. Well, come back later in the day, and I'll have worked out some pricing for you after I've talked to the boss.
All right, no problem. You go ahead, Patty.
I was I'm looking for an old friend of mine, Lem Buckles. He came to this town chasing after the ghost rock for mining. I hear that he
It was
lives
me.
hereabouts. So I imagine he'd shop in this very establishment. I was wondering if you might be able to point me to where his abode would be.
Len Buckles. Let's see how. Let's have a persuasion check then.
Rightio.
Do you have the picture upon you, or you're not using it?
I'm not using the picture.
You're not using the picture. Okay, so
I
that makes-
will describe him though. You'd probably know him by his eyes. Slightly bug-eyed fellow. Often wears a beard. Tries to keep that neat, but you'd know his eyes if you saw him. So you would.
So you obviously they won't tell you that one because you're already there. I wasn't paying attention. I clicked the wrong one there. Oh, I recall Len Buckles, says the other guy, sticking his head up. He rented a house from JD over at Nolly's Grub Counter.
Oh, right. Do you know which house it was he rented?
No, but I'm sure over at Nolly's Grub they'll be able to help you out there.
Right. Oh, and where would I find Nolly's Grub Counter? Sorry, I am new to town.
That's a very good question because it doesn't show up on. Oh, hang on. Nolly's Grub. Yeah, number 39.
It's number 39, but yeah, I
yeah,
can't
I know
see
you.
it.
I know. I'm just working out myself. You're down at 18, aren't you? I continue down 2nd Avenue, turn right onto Creek Street, and then turn right again onto 3rd Avenue. Or go the other way down Main Street. It's pretty much opposite one road over.
Oh, thank you very much indeed.
Okie dokie. That was Sophia. John, what's down there? Mercy and Will, you're heading to, well, if you're following her, you were heading to Debney's Cafe, weren't you?
Yep, we're looking for the marshal.
Number 11. Debney's Cafe and Cigar Store. Okay. Which is number 11 there.
Yeah, I've got one of them. I've got one of them long coats. Can't see my
You okay?
guns. My rifle is my horse.
Okay, located on Main Street, this newly built establishment this establishment appears rather newly built and practically sparkles, not yet marred by the filthy patina that settles over every structure. A long veranda wraps around the single story's left side, where you can see a couple of gents already enjoying cigars in rocking chairs in this early morning light. A haggard old raven caws from the roof. There's a pitch. You can see as you enter inside, you can hear music from a tinkling clockwork music box, complete with a Smith and Robards logo on the side of it. Well, meanwhile, someone who you will learn to is Frank Debney, owner and proprietor, drifts amongst the tables, and he greets you as you enter. And welcome to my cafe and cigar store. Can I interest you in breakfast or a cigar at all?
Coffee if you got it, and point me in the direction of the marshal.
You ever smoking a pancake?
Sure, sure. He pushes you both over to the table. And goes. The marshal don't like being disturbed during breakfast, but I can show. He's over there, and he points to a table in the opposite side of
A cigar and a flapjack.
the room.
Long in a bit.
You got to do his accent, Kevin. Come on. You want a schmuck and a pancake?
He's doesn't say he's got one, so I don't have to do him. And besides which, my accents are terrible.
Well,
I don't
exactly.
wish
The
to
more
make
you practice them, the worse you can get.
it. One of the characters has a strong Irish accent, so I'm gonna cry there.
You mean there's a fellow Irishman around, is there? Well, won't that be good?
There's only one thing wrong with that statement:
A schmuck and a
And what
pancake.
would that be?
the gender question.
Oh, it's an Irish lady.
Now we got the marshal in sight. What's he look like? Age, build?
Marshall Pillsbury Chips Wister.
Sure, what?
You know, it doesn't actually tell me that. All it tells me is how much he gets paid a month with bonuses for arrests and commission on fines levied. Oh, there we go. So he gets commissions on the fines levied. Do you know what? I have no idea of his description at all. So I'm going to say he's not like Buck Norman, who if you remember at the last town, this guy is fairly average looking, but he does seem to have a stern look to him and a good square jaw. You get the impression he's not someone who will basically suffer fools gladly.
Did they bring me coffee?
They did.
Okay, well, I sip my coffee a couple of times, and then I wait for a minute, and then I step up and I walk over to the marshal, and I go, "Howdy there, sir."
Don't you know it's danged annoying to interrupt a marshal when he's eating his breakfast, ma'am?
Yeah, I rightly understand that, sir. However, I'm kind of new to town here, and they informed me I can't carry my guns, and I don't really feel particularly safe without at least one.
Well, that's a bit of a shame, isn't it? Because if I see those guns upon you, I'll find you and confiscate them. That the
And
law's the
I
law,
pull my coat
and it
back
applies
and
to
go.
everyone.
I pull my coat back and I go, "Marshal, as you can see, I have complied with the ordinance."
Well, that's good. As long as you keep doing that, ma'am, well, we'll get along just fine. Now, let me finish my pancakes.
Alrighty, sir. However, and then I pull up a chair and sit down next to him, and I put my hand on my chin and I look right at him.
Now, I asked politely, ma'am, and I'll say it again now. Leave me to finish my pancakes. I do not require any discussions on the laws of this town.
Well, Marshal, I don't really want to have a discussion. I want to work out a deal here. Surely you can understand that we're not in a part of the world where it's safe for a lady to go about unprotected. You bastard.
I'm sorry. The law's the law. The law applies for everyone, from the highest to the lowest. And besides, the towns. Besides, if myself and my deputies are the only people carrying firearms, the town is a safer place for everyone. That's our job to keep it safe. It's not yours. Good day.
Well, that went well.
Who else in this town might have the authority to give me permission? Because I seen any number of guns around town last night, and none of them had badges.
Are you saying that?
Yes, I am.
He goes, well, if that's the case, then myself and my deputies will confiscate those guns and levy the fines accordingly.
Well, see, I'm kind of looking for employment here, and I can't rightfully make a living if I can't carry my guns.
Well, then I suggest you go make a living in another town.
I might just do that, and I'll take my money with me.
You do that. Now let me finish my pancakes, or I may have to cite you for disturbing the peace.
At that point, I'll step up and I'll back away. Well, not back away, intimidated, but move away from him and then turn around on my heel and walk out the door. And I will mark in my little notes that this is somebody that I do not care for, and he will get payback sooner or later.
Oh dear, I can't believe I wasn't trying. I was just trying to not let you get a raise on it. I wasn't expecting to blast you out the water.
That's all right.
Obviously, his commissions obviously means a lot to him. Right.
That's right.
As the day goes on, I'm just going to assume you're going to be moving around and networking and stuff. So if anyone wants to do ask any general information or ask you about Len Buckles, then you can do some networking. If you're going to a specific place,
I want to ask a specific question of the guy that rented him a house. I would like to ask if he knows where he is. Because if he's rented a house off him, then presumably he's got a way of contacting him to get paid and stuff. And I know that he's gone missing, and we're probably presuming dead. But I'm going to go in with the same story that I'm looking for a friend who I believe came here to Easton Hill to mine Ghost Rock, Len Buckles, and I've been told by the fellas at the store that he rented a house off of you. And could you point me in the direction of the house so that I can go and visit him?
Oh, so you're going to Nolly's Grub Counter?
Absolutely, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a fishing place by chance?
I think it's
No,
grub
the
as in
restaurant.
food, not grub as in things you stick on the end of a hook.
What a shame.
When you go back later in the day, we'll say it's $1 a week for
Excellent.
to rent the the equipment, and obviously 10 cents for the bait.
Well, then I'm going to spend my free time trying to catch enough fish for our dinner.
Okie JD's running it. You. Okay. Oh, JD Nolly. Everyone of line. Okay. As you head down to Nolly's Grub Counter, you see a line of cowboys and miners all the way down 3rd Street, apparently, which is interesting because it says it's 3rd Avenue on the map, isn't it? Because streets usually go one way and avenues usually go the other. Often wrapping around onto Main, in fact.
Well, I suppose I'll
you're
get.
Going to have a long wait.
I'll get at the end of the line then. Obviously, the food's good.
Indeed. Okay. Yeah. So obviously, when you get round the corner of Main Street, obviously you walked up round and then saw the queue and went to the back of it type thing. Once you get round the corner, you can see the storefront is literally a wooden plank countertop covered by a tent awning. And as I say, behind it is the open kitchen where you can see a sweat-drenched Nolly working feverishly to prepare every order himself. Yeah.
Well, when
as you get closer, you can see the menu. It has one item upon it, 50 cents. You get 2 bread pockets filled with either beef, lamb, and a stewed pressed vegetable concoction. So yeah, vegetable stew and 2 bread pockets filled with your choice of beef or lamb.
I will ask him which is best.
Each customer appears to be dropping money into a seal hogshead barrel with a slot in the top and calls out her order. Daisy serves it up in a waxed paper with a gap-toothed smile. I managed to lose where I was before, following up. So, so he's running at his usual speed maximum when you stop by. You have to wait. When he obviously he goes, well, the queue says it all. It's I'm very popular. Everyone seems to like my food. How can I help you today? What you having, sir?
Well, I'm new to town, so the 2 things you could help me with, if you're not minding. You can tell me which of the 2 you would recommend and take for yourself, because I'll have whatever that is. I say putting 50 cents into the hogshead. And the second thing, beef it is then. And secondly, I'm actually come here looking for a friend of mine who's here as a miner. I spoke with the folks at the general store, and they told me that you'd rented a house to him Mr. Len Buckles, if you could point me in the direction of where he's staying, I would very much appreciate it.
I leased him a house over on Bridger Street for, let's see, a month and a half. Last month, he up and vanished and didn't pay no rent at all. Man owes me $45. Tell him I said so if you see him. You know anybody looking to rent a place? I've got one, only $30 a month.
I'm guessing that would be the same place that Len was staying in.
Indeed, yes.
Well, oh dear, and he's not here. Well, but I must admit I'm going to need to be staying in town a little while before I'm leaving. But $30 a month, that is a little bit steep. You wouldn't
I'll
be
persuasive for you. As you finish your spiel, obviously.
He's an Irishman.
you wouldn't be willing to move on the price a little bit, would you?
Okay. He says, look. Goes, look, Buckles left the place in a mess. It needs some cleaning. He also swore someone was messing with him. He'd hear noises at night or see figures moving in the darkness. He was a high-strung fella, I thought, so I wouldn't get too worked up about it.
Oh,
And
I
I've
can
been
agree.
over
He was certainly high-strung.
And I've been over there twice and didn't see a thing. $20.
$20 a week, and
A
I do
month.
the cleaning.
A month.
$20
Don't
a
say
month.
a week.
Sorry, $20 a month, and I do the cleaning. Well, I suppose that's reasonable. I have got an engagement at the theatre. I'll be getting my pay on Monday. Would you be willing to take $2 as a down payment, pending the remaining 18 once I'm paid by the proprietor of the theatre?
Behind you, you can hear people muttering and all that. JD looks up and goes, yeah, certainly, yeah. Just show me the $2 and then drop it in the barrel.
There you go, sir. And might I have the key?
When you give me the payment on Monday, yes.
At this point, Mercy would, having left that, would have headed back towards 3rd Avenue to cut up to her hotel or motel.
Tavis, you know I've got enough to cover them.
Can I spot these guys down there nattering away from where I am?
In which
you
case,
can
if Sophia slips the money into my pocket, I'll then pay.
Okay, what, the full 20?
Yeah.
Okay, no problem at all. He hands you the key.
Yeah, John Watt comes around the corner and says, 20 quid, then that's not a real great deal of money. I mean, surely.
It might not be for you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, since Mercy and John Watt I will saunter up the street, catching their eye in a, why don't you walk the way that I'm walking and just happen to be travelling the way that I'm travelling kind of a way.
No, because that's the way back to my hotel. Because I was gonna go and camp out. Because I'm gonna mention to them that people aren't too friendly. I'm gonna go get my guns and I'm gonna find me a place to hole up out of town. Because not liking the folks around here.
Now,
I'm going fishing.
You know, I found it quite the opposite. Might I point something out, if you don't mind, Miss Vancouver? You found every person that you've spoken with in this town to be quite unpleasant. I will point out that the one common denominator between all of those people that were being unpleasant was that the person that they'd spoken with last was yourself.
Is that a slap in the? That's a kick in the nuts or a slap around the face? Gotta be, isn't it? You can do both if you want. Slap him in the nuts and kick him in the face.
Is anyone else networking? Because there's lots of info. I've got a whole page of information.
Yeah, I'm going to be going asking questions.
Yes. Well, you can network as you can either find out there's some general info. You could use persuasion or intimidation. However, obviously, if you're probably going to be in this town for a while, so intimidation could have repercussions. Or you could be networking, asking about Len Buckles. I don't mind if you don't. It's just.
Well, I was thinking that fishing's the kind of thing that if you're doing, you're sitting there doing nothing for a long time, and you chat with people who are also fishing.
Why didn't if you do it on the bridge? That's probably a good place to catch people going by, isn't it?
And I'll be doing it in the.
So
I'll be doing it in the pub with.
fishing.
I'll be in the.
Let's have Okay.
At
So
some
if
point, I need to go to the bank and have a word about land ownership.
now,
But
are
I'm
you
not going to.
just networking about general info or anything about? Or are you trying to find out stuff about Len Buckles? Yeah.
I'm going to roll. I'm going to roll a support roll for somebody else's persuasion.
General for mine,
General.
because I know that that Paddy's looking for the stuff about the guy specifically. So I'll be more general and see what background info I can find out.
Okay, so you pick up that Heaston Till was originally called Tarrytown. It was founded in 1879 by Standish and Angel Epp, the Frontier Store's original owners. Jerem's Heaston's people renamed it August of 1883. I will do that. The big news around town is the disappearance of the Headstone Nugget, the original nugget that kicked off the Ghost Rock Rush. It sat on Jerem Heaston's mantle for the last year, but someone had the gall and skill to break into his manor and steal it without anyone seeing a thing. Amanda Lobdell is the mayor. Most people like her, and they are glad she stands up to Jerome Hinston now and then. General stuff. So that's the 3 you get. William Money gets Heaston owns the biggest mines and tries to run the town where he can. His outfit has been pushing the independent miners to join him, especially after the big explosion up on the Headstone Tarrytown bench last month. Oh, and John Watt gave a persuasion, so actually I'll give you the last of the general information on one of those as well. That the independent, you already know this one because of someone already said it, but the independent miners has formed a union under Frontier Store owner Frank Debney. Fights between them and Heaston boys are becoming more common. Most believe it will all end in a shooting war eventually, which is again another reason why they're probably trying to enforce the no firearms rules so forcefully.
Yeah, that's what I was saying at the beginning. So the town's getting a bit rough because there's two fractions that play basically over owner. There's a private mining corporation, and then obviously the independents are trying to unionise, but not very effectively.
Can I try and find out more about the theft of this nugget?
That is a good question.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, how does okay, it was in somebody's house, right? The person that found it, they put it on display in their house. But how did somebody break into a house and lift that without, I mean, did they break in? How was it done? How was it done? Did they?
Yeah,
Was it,
it's about the weight of a child. It's not exactly easy to carry around.
Well, I know, but couldn't we just go and offer some
right,
condolences
okay,
and find out some information from them?
The Emporium, office,
I mean, just turning up at your door and say, "I would like to see your ghost rock." Can you go? Oh, haven't you heard?
Well, that's a good question. No one seems to know how. Indeed. As you're walking away from as you're walking away from Nolly, he goes, I even went to the marshal to see if he helped me find Buckles, but he was just indifferent about it.
Is that so? Well, might have to have a word with the marshal. Fellow's a good friend of mine. Could you point me to the marshal's office as well?
You're given the descriptions. It's on the east end of Smith Street and on First Avenue.
Yeah.
Just as you're heading out, one of the miners in the queue behind you goes, "Did I hear you asking about Len Buckles?"
Yeah, that's right. A friend of mine. I knew him when we were back east. He said he was coming here to look at a mining claim, and said I should call in if I was ever in the area.
Well, indeed, Len Buckles. What a one. He was a legend in the trade. He's the only miner who ever convinced Prospector Bob Malone to go in on a claim with him. Prospector Bob goes in alone. Amazing. We still don't know how he pulled it off.
Oh, right. Well, it seems he's gone missing in town, though. Do you know who saw him last? Maybe this Prospector Bob might.
Probably worth a try, as I say. Hell of a guy. Legend around here is old Buttles.
Well, where would I find this prospector, Bob?
That's a very good question, isn't it?
Yes, where is Bob?
Oh, he'll probably be up on his claim and on Tarrytown Branch.
Right, so I'd have to take a bit of a walk out of town then. I might get some better boots on before I do that, but maybe I expect the land office would be able to tell me where I could find him then.
Yeah, they'll definitely. Yeah, I'm sure they will. Because I can't remember myself.
In that case, whichever one is closest, I'll go to the land office or the sheriff's office. Whichever one is closest. And at the land office, I will ask about where Prospector Bob's place is, and I will try and surreptitiously make the sign of the Twilight Legion, just in case.
The lands claims and essays office, is that not on your list? How on earth did they not put that on your list?
No, we've got restaurants, saloons, and services and entertainment, and the assay office.
The essays office is there, so it's closer.
Possibly, yes, is the answer.
In that case, I'll head back to the assay office, and as I go in, I will be surreptitiously making the symbol of the Twilight Legion, and keep the same story that Len Buckles is an old friend. And but I hear the last person to like to see him was somebody by the name of Prospector Bob Malone. Would you be able to point me in the direction of where I might be able to find him? I'm told he lives out on his claim. I rolled the wrong skill, but it's the same die type.
Okay. Prospector Bill. Obviously, the guy goes, yes, certainly, and obviously gives you directions.
Right, so we know where that is, and then my next stop is going to be the sheriff's office to talk about a missing person.
I'm looking for.
Say something, Mercy.
If Mercy is following me, I'm going to say, Didn't you just have a run-in with the sheriff? Maybe you should wait outside rather than coming in to speak to the person that you've berated about his laws about firearms. I think your presence might be not terribly useful to me.
Just rebooted her laptop, I think.
Yeah, but I'm going to request that Mercy stays outside rather than.
Well, she can't. She's not here to object, so you probably got away with that one.
Wow, Fisher, was that your unskilled survival roll?
Yep.
Wow, that's very impressive. I think that feeds everyone, doesn't it? That type of role.
He feeds,
Fresh fish for everyone
the village. Everyone comes to her and starts listening to the sermon.
Yeah. I expect that gets her a reputation.
She probably called Big Ben, the legendary fish that's out there somewhere.
Yay, I'm going to get photographed and put on the wall of the saloon. Not me, actually, a picture of me, just to be clear.
Successful survival roll provides enough food and water for one person for 5 days. Okay, so basically, you catch enough fish to feed 5 people for 1 day.
Awesome. That I consider a very nice cat.
Yes, but however but obviously by the time you've done that, you're going to have to head over to the theatre.
At some point,
well, I'll drop the fish off where we're staying first and say perhaps he could prepare that for our evening meal.
Indeed. Sorry, Mr. Watt was about to say something until I talked.
I was going to say, so at some point in the evening, somebody's going to make friends with me and say, I remember a fish and it was this big and it got away. So, so she's probably made contacts.
Okay, you're heading to the sheriff. in the meantime. Okay, so by the time you get to the marshal's office, he's finished his breakfast, and as you walk in, the marshal's leaning way back in his chair with his boots on his desk, a dusty black hat over his eyes, blowing at a
Good day.
fly that keeps pestering his whiskers. Oh yeah, we've got a bit more information about it.
Good day to you, sir. Very good day to you, sir.
All he gets is as a reply.
The name's Harper, Patrick Harper. I'm looking for a friend of mine who I'm told, well, has been certainly staying in town recently. I spoke with the gentleman that rented him a house. He said that you were asked to look into his disappearance on the matter of some back rent. A gentleman by the name of Len Buckles. I was wondering if you had any information about his whereabouts. I am trying to find him.
How persuasive are you? To be honest, I ain't concerned over Len Buckler's disappearance. This town's wide open. People coming and going every day. Now I heard a rumor that some varmints running these hills, calling themselves the Ghost Steel Gang, might have seen Buckles the night he vanished or the night he left town. Who can say? These miners fit to drive me crazy with their carryings on. And then I've got women complaining about not being allowed to carry firearms. That's got better things to deal with than try and find missing miners. People come and go every day.
Right, I see. And this Ghost Steel Gang, would they be something that you've looked into? I imagine that would be an issue for an upstanding lawman like yourself.
I was wondering about that one.
Thing is, he's only a town marshal. If it's outside of the town, it's out of his jurisdiction.
Exactly. I was just thinking
because we're in a territory, so the territorial rangers have jurisdiction here. A U.S. marshal would only have jurisdiction if he was after something from outside.
This is it. Yeah, until they come into town, they're the marshal. They're the rangers' problem. But after that, we'll see. But as I say, they're causing all sorts of. I've lost what I said. Yeah. So why Buckles is tight was mixed up with a group of bandits anyway. I really don't know.
Well, in that case, I'm terribly sorry to have bothered you, Sheriff, and I do hope you don't have any more trouble with, as you say, women wanting to carry guns around town. Not a terribly ladylike thing to do, but I must admit I've seen many gunfighters of the fairer sex that are just as good as the men. But well, I'm glad you have that rule in your town. It's I've been around a long time, and I'm never too comfortable about firearms. They're let's just say yes, I've had bad experiences in my time. But thank you kindly for your time, Marshal, and I shall leave you to your day. You have a very good day there now.
Did I get my sound back?
You did.
You did. And Patrick didn't let you come into the Marshal's office with him.
Yeah, I caught that as I was leaving.
Well, there we go. So I obviously the day goes on, people are doing stuff. So Mr. Watt's going to the bank, I believe.
Yes, I was going to go to the bank, and I wanted to know about the
17.
But it's actually the landowner's office. But I want to know the disposition of the land, who owns what land and where.
You would ask something I have no answer to, wouldn't you?
Well, here's the thing. I'll narrow it down. Was he would have been, Len Buckles would have been an independent miner, I am assuming, and not. He didn't join, or did he join?
He was working with Prospector Bob Malone, and I found out where Prospector Bob's stake is.
Yeah, that's what I was after. About where exactly is the stake? Is there anybody else who's got a stake next to him who's going to have a conflict of interest?
I need to remind myself what's going on, because that's what I meant to do earlier, and I ran out of time today. Okay,
Going by the newspaper article, I think there's some shenanigans going on with people just turning up with guns and say, "This is our land. Thanks very much. Bugger off."
What, claim jumping in
Yes, I
the
think
Old
this
West?
is. Yeah,
No
I think
such thing ever happened.
no, I think there's a significant amount of claim jumping going on, but I'm more interested in was that another independent? Was it an independent gang, or was it actually the mine itself?
I skipped. Okay, so fuck, guys. Okay. Okay. Okay, it doesn't tell me much about that. Okay, so First National Bank is a shiny new affair. It bills itself as the safest vault west of Laramie. And yeah. Inside 3 clocks. Oh, that's interesting. Is interesting. I haven't picked up on that when I was doing the conversion. Number 17. It's a typo in the original book.
Yeah, at some point I need to draw some salad money as well.
Salad money.
Yeah, salary because I get paid,
Oh,
paid and
I
paid.
thought you said salad money.
What salad money?
Yeah, it
I'll
comes
be
in a
needing
light
some-
vinaigrette.
I'll be needing some
Like-
lettuce and some cucumber.
No, he's after. Is he after salt, not lettuce?
Now that is fascinating.
Be done now.
I've got a paragraph. Oh, there it is. No, it's just it's. I've actually got a paragraph missing. That's why I got confused. So the Easton's mining owns and administers the bank's operations, while 3 clerks work on site. Okay. Oh, the head tailor and 2 clerks. No, it's okay.
You haven't done an update, have you?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll give you a clue. I thought this
Yes, you
conversation was
haven't.
going to be as
No, I have done no, because this is the thing. Actually, I was saying at the start before you got here is like I thought the decked up deck had been fixed, but I've done the update and I'm still getting the error.
You told him.
No, because I did an update just before I started the game.
All right, but
I've
I'm
been
just
running the
no,
game.
but I'm looking at Moon Wizard said he fixed Fan the Hammer and improved Fan the Hammer, and he hasn't. So, oh, on here it isn't anyway. It still says Fan the Hammer. Should be seasoned.
Well, that comes down to: am I using a module or am I using a direct access to? So now you got me wasting more time.
No, it's
Yeah.
fine. Don't worry about it. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, you can easily fix it in spell file if that's what you're using. So
Yeah, it doesn't matter now. No, I just clicked on it now. And...
Hang on,
Well, anyway, just to fill in some
Cats and
blanks.
dogs
So I
living
thought I'd
together.
go into the bank and say what the deal is with who owns the land, and what I expect the guy to do is, I'm not going to tell you. In which case, I'm going to go and say, do you know who I am? And then use my connections edge, and then they'll go, oh shit.
Why?
Here's the paperwork.
Why? I'm confused.
Even if the GM didn't notice it, I thought that was excellent planning.
Yeah, very good.
I'm confused.
I think the GM's glitching.
He's derailed me now. Shop. I am totally derailed, and now I'm going to have to work this one out. Deadlands. No
Somebody get him an
bloody-
espresso fast.
What? Hang on. Why is it the search tool doesn't work? There's a trick to making it work, isn't there? On their shop. Yes, you have to type in Weird West. You can't type in Deadlands.
Oh,
Brings up
right.
stuff
You're
that
using
isn't in
you're
Deadlands.
using the search on their website, right? Okay, that's a lucky dip.
No, you just can't. The problem is you can't type in Deadlands. Okay, yeah, I am thoroughly confused about that one. I'll have to work out why later. So I did not do the core rules adaptation. Or the companion. Yet for some reason, I'm not using the modules I'm pointing at.
Don't forget, if you've got an unpacked module, it's going to use that first in preference.
That's the point. What I'm trying to work out is I don't know why I've got unpacked modules because I didn't create the modules. There must be a reason for that, but I can't remember what it is. So the answer is it probably has been fixed, but I'm using the modules, so I need to remove those because I don't need to use the modules for Deadland. I should use the official modules. I will have to sort that one out.
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
Yeah, they get used in preference and they don't overwrite when you update either.
I know, except the irony here is, and this is something I've never worked out, is if Moon Wizard has fixed Fan the Hammer and the other one, improved Fan the Hammer, and fixed them so they're the right way round now, and I'm not getting them because I've got local copies of the modules, which is how it's supposed to be. Why doesn't that happen when it comes to Pathfinder? Why is it every time I update Pathfinder, I have to delete the vault files to let me use my version of the modules? Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's not fair.
Ew, I don't know.
Yeah. So there we go. Anyway, so yes, you've already got prospectors jobs thing. If you have to go to the bank, obviously, free clerks are there. Obviously, they must have a situation. It's the First National, so they obviously will. You can draw your money, your pay from there, no problem at all. That makes my life easier. Okie dokie. What's your plans?
So
Obviously,
sorry. Well, you were loading to clarify the section, so I was going to ask the bank, right? Because the land ownership's one thing, but basically follow the money is the whole argument about there was some land that was stolen. There was a claim jump according to the newspaper. And what I wanted to know is we had found where the agent's alias has the claim that he had, and I wanted to know if somebody was interested in jumping on his claim.
That time,
I'm trying to work out the system, and what I was expecting to happen was you were going to say role persuasion, I was going to fail, and then I was going to say, oh, by the way, do you know who I am? And then they'll realise who I am and go, oh shit.
And
just give me the paperwork.
They still wouldn't tell you because it's private and confidential.
Well, funny thing is,
you know that using the connections edge requires a persuasion roll, don't you?
Yes.
Well, yes, maybe we'll see. and probably 3 pennies as well. But
all implying the Old West had privacy laws, really?
Yeah.
I don't mean you, Tav. I meant Kev.
That's what the excuse they're going with.
You're going to tell me they got DPA next?
No, it's obviously look. Information is power, and certain you can't just walk up into a bank and go, "Who's trying to steal someone's claim?" That type of thing.
And they're also going to bring out like 12 watercolors and say, to prove that you're not an automaton, can you please identify the watercolors that have a wagon on them?
Anyway, off the top of my head, I don't recall that information being provided because I didn't get to do your nuts prep work as I wanted to. And anyway, they wouldn't give it to you anyway, especially as who owns the bank.
Semi-bankers.
So the rehearsal goes very well. After watching your rehearsal, you're informed that obviously you're a $1 show And obviously, he says yes, definitely the agreed payments of $20 and $5 are Miss D, and yeah, and he says see you on for your Saturday performance. Don't there we go. Which
Right,
means
so
that means by the time we get everyone back together, and it's about 4, we'll say it's about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, when you all get together and get to share the information you've all discussed, and then you can decide where you're heading next, or what you're
well,
going to, what your plan of attack is next.
I will let everybody know that I've got the key to the house that Buckles was staying in, and I've rented it at least for the next week.
Month.
Sorry, month. Sorry, at least for the next month. And that we know he was working with a prospector, Bob Malone, and I know where his stake is. And also that he was apparently seen the day he went missing with a group of ne'er-do-wells known as the Ghost Steel Gang. Since you're so keen to get out of town and have your guns on your hips, perhaps that would be a lead that you should follow up, Miss Vancouver.
You really want to split the party?
I think we should all go together, actually. But, I mean, did he...
Split the posse. It's Deadlands.
But the funny thing is, right, he went up to his claim and he needed to hire bodyguards to go up to his claim.
I'm not saying. Well, I don't know about that. All I know is that he was seen with the ghost, this Ghost Seal Gang.
Where was his claim?
Well, he was working with Prospector Bob Malone, and his claim's up on the table there. And apparently, the Ghost Seal Gang might have seen him on the night he vanished.
So should we go up to the table then?
The bench. Sorry, the table's the next bit further up. The bench is the bit that's slightly below the table because it could slide underneath if it could move because it's mountain and mountains can't move like that. But were it able to move, it would slide underneath like a bench could slide underneath the table.
Honey, take a deep breath. Start again.
Right.
First
It's
of all,
called a
you said
bench.
something about having rented a house. Is it
Why don't we just go
inside
to the
town?
claim?
I need to look at the map of.
Yeah, it's in the town.
Well,
I need
if we're riding out of town, I need to swing around by the hotel and get my
Uinta.
guns.
Uinta. I need to look at the map. I need to look at the map of Uinta County again. So it looks like I need to check something out.
I wonder, is there a map that's kind of between the map of Uinta County and the map of Easton Hill?
There is.
Ah, okay.
For some reason, I get that, you don't.
All right.
Okay, so I'm looking for.
Because a map of Easton Hill and environs, so we could see where the claim is, would be useful.
It would indeed, except it's that funny enough, it's called exactly that. But it's got things on it that the players aren't supposed to see. Isn't that interesting?
Oh, right, so.
Well, basically, it's got markers going, this is where you go, so I have to work out a way. I'll probably have to edit it and out later.
Right.
Okie dokie. So, okay, so yes, Easton Hills. Okay, where's the player's version? Let's look at the player's version. Just so, yeah, I wasn't stupid. I made the sensible option there of on the player's map and putting the pins on. I need to do that on the town. I need to update this module. I found a few mistakes. So, obviously, if we go back to the map of Uinta Country, Uinta, thank you. Easton Hill's quite a bit away from the railroad here, but that is the Denver Pacific. Which one do you work for, Mr. Watt?
Well, technically, I own patents on some, quite a few of them.
Okay. Can I have a common knowledge check from you, please?
Yeah. Yeah, what I used to do was make inventions and then patent them out to anybody who wanted to buy them, and they lease them, basically. Roll what?
Is that the least you can do?
Common knowledge.
Common knowledge. But
That's absolutely fine. I wouldn't worry about it.
Oh, shall we ban it? Oh, bum.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about it. It's probably not important. What, there was something on your mind, but it's obviously not. So, I suspect, yeah. I suspect if there's any information about who was trying to gobble it up, I need to go to perspective. Go to perspective. It doesn't. The adventure doesn't tell me anything about that sort of useful stuff like that. So, what's your plan for the day? Rest of the day, I should say.
Eat fish.
Are we going
Okay.
back? Are we going back to the house that you rented, or are we each going off to our own hotels? What are we doing here?
Does
I
anyone
thought.
overpaid for a night apart from YouTube?
I mean, are we going to go and find this guy's claim or not?
Well, it's quite late in the day. I'm not sure we should be leaving town right now. Apparently, the house that I've rented is in a bit of a mess, so it's going to need cleaning up before anybody can stay there. So I expect Misty and I will be staying with Mrs. Jones for at least another night or two. Do you feel up to cleaning, Misty?
Not on my own, but I don't mind helping.
Well, I suppose we should go and at least put the house to rights a little bit so it can be used.
We'll go and see how bad it really is.
Maybe we can find some information there while we're at it.
Well, that